Alright, how about now? Is there sound now? Okay, good. Alright. Okay, so I think I finally figured out the right port to plug in the mic. I don't know why, for some reason it was in a different USB port. But, okay, we're Gucci now. We're good. Alright. Okay, so a lot of alts are looking absolutely incredible right now. Pretty much across the whole board. And we certainly don't want to miss any good opportunities. So let's check some out. Hey Nan, or I'm just going to call you Kevin because I don't know how to pronounce your name at all there. Kala. I'm just going to call you Kumar, like Harold and Kumar. So you're Kumar from now on. And you should probably change your Discord name to Kumar. Okay, before we get started on looking at alts, we need to look at first the Bitcoin dominance. See how Bitcoin dominance is holding up. Okay, I don't know why this keeps defaulting to this setting. Wow, look at this rejection here on the weekly. That is beautiful. Okay, so very good key points right here on the dominance. Okay, so the 7-day moving average right there, that green line did cross over that 200-day right there. But you can see it is very nastily curling over. And look at the candle structure falling back underneath that moving average right there. This is very, very bad on the weekly time frame for dominance. But of course there could be some smaller pushes there. So this is a very good sign that we want to see right here for altcoins. What this dominance means, in case anybody forgot or is new and is unsure, is this is the dominance that Bitcoin holds over altcoins. So the higher this goes, the more alts will bleed out. So this rejecting here is a really, really good sign for altcoins. So what this means is that altcoins are breaking away their dominance from Bitcoin, and that's why we're starting to see a lot of altcoins really moving. So this is a great sign right here. Still some key levels of support. Let me turn off my moving average there to make it clear. Key levels that we need to break still from the last live stream. This is going to be probably a pretty good monster to break, and that's just barely right there off of the 20-day moving average on the weekly. So we should test this, and we may get a bounce. And if we get a bounce right here, then we'll probably get like a little pullback on altcoins. So we'll probably get a bounce. And then we really need to break below this. We start breaking below this right here and start getting down into these lower 60s. We're really going to see some maybe 100, 200% altcoin runs, hopefully. So that's going to put our next support zone probably right there. Let's just call that 60. Let's just keep that even number there. That may be a little too high. Oh well, it'd be all right. Just off the tops of these wicks right here, meeting the tops of these candles here, and coming over here and meeting the tops of these candles, somewhere around 59, 60 or so. So we'll probably see a little bounce right here and then come back here. So at these key levels, we'll want to probably scale out of alts or keep an eye on altcoins and see the reaction that they have over dominance here. Because when we get a bounce in dominance, altcoins are going to go down. So we want to make sure that we're out of them and we have our profits locked in. So this is very, very good for altcoin dominance here. Coin Trader Pro. Let's go look at altcoin market cap. Okay, so we want to look at the total altcoin market cap here. I don't care about the altcoin dominance because it's literally just going to be the opposite of Bitcoin dominance. Okay, so this is fantastic to see right here. Okay, so we did break our trend line here, so we can delete this as it's no longer valid. But if you see this line here, this is probably should be green. is you can see the candle structures right here. Let me zoom in a little bit. See the candle structures right here where they found support right off of the tops of these previous resistances right here. We can drag this all the way out. So this looks really, really good for altcoin market cap. So what this means for the altcoin market cap is that money is flowing into altcoins. So this looks really, really nice. Nice falling wedge. It's not the prettiest one, but Kumar is asking, so if dominance is getting down, can we match this to current Bitcoin chart directly proportional? Okay, here's where a lot of people get this kind of confused and awkward, or not awkward, but kind of confused, is Bitcoin can still do its thing. It can still go up or down regardless of what dominance does. We could see just low volume pumps or low volume dumps on Bitcoin, and it wouldn't affect overall altcoin dominance. What really goes hand in hand is the dominance and the altcoin market cap. So if this means that if this chart here and the altcoin market cap is increasing, then that means the money is flowing out of Bitcoin and into altcoins. So I think this, in my opinion, weighs heavier when calculating altcoin trends and altcoin shifts more so than what the price of Bitcoin is doing. I don't know where you see fake EW. There is no EW here, sir, so you can just booyah. Secret Link Marine. I'm going to go ahead and say that you're LOC over there. Okay, so back to business here. This looks really good for altcoin market cap. Nice big dump there, and we saw the pullback like 2 weeks ago or something. So this looks really good here. Some very nice divergences going on. So we want to see this channel break, and I want to see altcoin market cap up here. I would love to see altcoin market cap come up and hit this resistance right here. So this means, let's see, what kind of push is this here? That's about a 50% increase in altcoin market cap. That is a lot of money that would have to flow into alts to get up into this resistance, and that would be extremely, extremely, extremely bullish for altcoins. So I'm really loving what I'm seeing here and on the Bitcoin dominance chart. Okay, so let's go jump into some, see what's going on. Okay, so WAN chain is a call, and if anybody remembered from the last live stream, we had something quite similar to this cup and handle formation that looks to be forming here. So we still see WAN chain is respecting this trend line. We got a nice little break right here. However, I don't think this is going to moonshot right here. I wouldn't complain if it did either. I still think it's going to kind of snake its way and get some of these resets on some of these medium time frames. Of course, I would not at all be upset if it pumped right here, but we have been watching this and following this back here from the 2300s, so we're already at a pretty good, about 15% profit. Unless you're on CoinDCX, and then that's multiplied by whatever. So it's looking really, really bullish right now on the daily. I'm going to swing trade this because I really want to see if this plays out and snake its way up. So if this were to follow this path and form the right side of this cup, just like it's doing here, we got roughly about 60 to 65% profit left to gain. Now again, that's only if it pulls this pattern, and then we'll see that pullback. So if anybody remembers this from the live stream the other day, we were still kind of probably right here in the 2400s, and now we're sitting at 2616. So it's moving up pretty nicely, however slow, but nice. Okay, so look at the 2-day here, 2-day chart. We're crossing bull up here. RSI is kind of increasing, price is kind of increasing, so it still looks good. We're still on track. And again, I don't expect it to just get a nice big candle right here on the next 2-day candle. I expect this to follow this squiggly blue pattern right here and just kind of snake its way, but remain making higher lows off of this trend line and then just kind of work its way up. That's what I'd like to see. However, again, I'm not going to be totally upset if this just pumps where it's at. So I'll take anything up here in this 3,500 mark. That'd be some pretty good profit. That's 50%. Of course, if you're on DCX margin trading, that's 200% profit. If you're running at a 4x leverage, even just up to here, maybe probably somewhere touching the tops of these candles, is still 30%. I don't think anybody's going to complain with that. So WAN chain is still on track, still looks good. Okay, so let's move to Nano. Nano is a new call that we're looking at today. I'm sorry, I'm just reading comments here. There's serious issues with Tether. Do you think they are putting Tether into alts? Well, there's always that speculation on what Tether is doing. Tether is in a lot of trouble. So is Bitfinex. I think both of them are being audited and having to subject to U.S. courts and the SEC and all of that. I hadn't kept up with it much. It would be bad news for the entire market if Tether were to go down. Because, I mean, it's been rumored that they basically printed like $3 billion or whatever. Doesn't sound that significant when looking at the overall market cap of Bitcoin or market cap of cryptocurrencies in general, but it's FUD, especially with people trying to scramble dumping Tether or to get into another stable coin or getting out of the market altogether. They'll probably just use it as some bullshit excuse to dump the market so to profit off of shorts. But we've seen it a lot of times in the past when there's always some kind of big random FUD out. The market usually buys it up. So, but I mean, we want to play the chart and not so much on what's going on with Tether. So we're just going to stick to the chart. But I think Tether is eventually going to be in trouble. Okay, so Nano. Nano is a call that we're looking at today. It's a new call. This is a 30-minute chart. Looking a little toppy here on the 30-minute. I really want to see a pullback on this just to get a little bit of a reset and maybe get some more members in here. I want to see this wick right here. Turn off the moving average there. I want to see this wick right here hold above as support. Now, if we went to, let me delete this. Nano. Okay, so if we looked at the order books on Nano, there's that big wall right there. There's a nice big wall. I'd like to see a pullback. That's right at 945-ish, it looks. So I'd like to see a pullback somewhere right around this wick here, because we're looking a little bit overextended here. So I'd like to see come back, test that support, and then boof, we're off. Daily on Nano, however, daily is really strong. Let me zoom out a little bit here, and it looks much more incredible on the daily, or I'm sorry, on mobile. So this is our little breaking point right here. Okay, so we're hitting right here into the bottom of our first confluence zone, right in here. Okay, so this is the point that we really want to get above to see a pretty violent and probably significant push. I would not be surprised to come up and see us test up here in the 1400s to come and test this previous high up here. So that's looking at about probably 50% or so. Probably, yeah, really close. Let's turn on our moving average. Okay, so this is what we want to see right here when we're looking at high time frames and when understanding the relationship of moving averages to price action. So we have the 7-day moving average, the green line here. Look at it. Let me zoom in a little bit. look at it right here, kind of splitting away from the 20-day moving average here. So on a daily time frame, this is a good sign here, as it is usually a continuation pattern of the trend. So in this case, it's bullish as we are crossing up from the 20-day moving average right here. And now we're going to be on our way testing the 100-day moving average. So it's got a really nice, strong, daily close on the last candle. And here we are looking at this candle. I want to see that little bitty pullback. Let me see, probably right there somewhere, right in the 940, 950 area for a support resistance flip. I want to see this flip. If not, no big deal. I got bags packed and I'm going to swing trade it all the way up and hold for a few days. So this is our first heavy area of confluence and resistance. If we get a break above this 1,120 mark, I'm pretty sure this could be a pretty nice violent push. Probably catch a small pullback around here, around 1,200 or so. So we probably could, if this pulls an IOTX type move, get a push and then a little quick pullback and then a bigger push. Because, I mean, I don't think it's going to go straight up in one candle. This isn't DOC. This is Nano, not DOC. But overall, the general trend of Nano looks really, really strong now. It took quite a bit of time to get out of this pattern. If we zoomed out here, you can see the accumulation zone going as far back as the beginning of September. So this has been an accumulation right here for a month. Okay, so let's check out the weekly. Look at that weekly candle. That is a strong weekly candle. And look at that first target right there around 1,200, right off of the 20-day moving average on the weekly, and our top target meeting right here at the tops of these two candles at about 1420. So this is so far setting up to be a really nice play. I'm really pleased with the way Nano is shaping. I just really want to see that 15-minute, 30-minute time frame pullback. But Nano looks really, really good from pretty well all time frames. So these are our targets, and if we turned off the moving averages, you can see them a little bit better. I'm going to remove this box here. So I really want to see again, and we may not get it. Let's see what the hourly looks like. Even the hourly looks a little overextended. Looks like it wants to get a pullback. So maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll get that little pullback here. I'd like to see. Let me move this up a little bit. I'd like to see around 950. I'd be happy with 950 because I'm pretty sure Noza wants to get some more down there too. Other than that, Nano looks absolutely phenomenal for a swing trade if you plan on holding it a few days. I think Noza would agree also that Nano looks incredible. So we can call that one out. Let me go back and put those targets back on. Oh, they're still there. Okay. So this is going to be our targets for Nano. We want to look around 1180 to 1200. And then we're going to probably look to see if we get that push up to 1420. If we get any higher than that, and for some odd reason, if there's some kind of big news or out or something, and we just pump all the way up here, I'll probably retire work. That'd be, well, I mean, that's certainly possible. From what we've seen on coins, they are pumping about 100%. So this would be a good 500% run right here for some of us who got in like the nines. I got in kind of late at 958, I think. So I'll take 100% run, no problem there. But to not get the hopium out there, these are the two targets that we want to look for. And Nano right now just looks really good. So I am going to hold this one as a good, strong play. Ooh, ugly curve. Yeah, I don't like that. We'll just leave that. We'll just leave the chart just like it is right here. Okay, so let's move on. Next coin, Waves. I'm going to try to go through these a little bit fast because there's a lot. Shut up, Noza. There's a lot of coins here that we're going to look at, and then we got to check out Bitcoin and Ethereum at the end. So we're going to try to go through these somewhat quick. No cup and handle on Nano. I don't see that on Nano. Okay, so Waves doesn't look too shabby. So here is our support zone, I think, from the last update that we want to see hold over, and so far we are holding over right here above 1084, all the way down to maybe 1060, this zone here. Look at the fight here on the MACD. So this is really just trying to grind it out right here. This looks like a nice little bull pennant here. So I want to see this come down and kind of scrape out, which like it's already done. Looks like it's already gotten close. Wick right there at about 290. We'll call that 290. So this still looks good. I don't see anything to fret about on Waves yet. So let's go check out. Let me delete this so it's not in the way. Yeah, daily looks good too. Okay, so we're still holding above the support nail here for 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Got that strong candle above it. So this green line here was noted here as the breakout point. So this was our local resistance that was holding the whole structure down. So you can see right here off the bottoms of these two candles, all of this was holding underneath this line as resistance. So now that we broke above it right here on this candle, we're now expected to hold it as support. So this is a good local support resistance flip that we want to see hold. Turn on our moving averages. Look at the 7-day right here. You can see the candle right there at the tip of the 7-day moving average. And it looks like the 7-day wants to kind of just push it. It just wants to catch it and push it up. So the trend for Waves still looks bullish. Let's go to weekly. And weekly candle here too. So look at the 7-day moving average right there. Look at it kind of rounding out and trying to round this corner with this doji candle sitting above it. So that means that this 7-day moving average is going to act as support and catch this candle. So we shouldn't see below this. We shouldn't see a candle close below that 1060 mark. So even the weekly looks pretty good. So we should want to see something like that. So nothing to fret on with Waves. It's just not a shit coin, so it's not going to move as fast as it's not going to move as fast as some of these other low market cap coins. But overall, the structure looks good. The support looks good. It's just taking its time. So here you can see this falling wedge break right here, and then we went sideways into accumulation after breaking out right there. So Waves looks pretty good. Yes, I agree. Waves is a slow mover, but I mean, all it takes is something else big coming out for Waves, and then I mean it does, you know, a 400% move in. Let's see, this is the 30th of November to the 17th. So less than 2 weeks, it did a 400% run that we completely missed last time because we got tired of watching it, I think somewhere right around in here. No, I think it was here. Yeah, I think it was somewhere around in this structure. I remember last year we were watching it. So I'm not going to give any kind of like major big targets. I think sticking to these here are plenty. This is 17. We can maybe even see as high as 1500 for 30%, on up to a 50-60% push at max. This is believable. So let me add in another target right here, and we'll watch what happens when we get to those resistance zones. Okay, let's move on. We'll save XLM for the last, for last. No, so we'll check it out. All right, ontology, ONT, another kind of mid to high market cap coin, another slow mover, but it usually does have pretty good pushes when it does move. Again, here, this was August of, oh, I'm sorry, no, this was February of this year. I don't know what happened with their news there, but they had a pretty significant 120% push there. And it looks about time ready for that one also. Yes. ONT, you can certainly buy in the U.S. dollar pair. The thing about the U.S. dollar pair or against the U.S. dollar is U.S. dollar, or the USDT pairs usually follow Bitcoin more closely. So if Bitcoin's going to dump, the dollar pair is usually going to follow it, but not necessarily so much the Bitcoin pairs, if that makes any sense. Sometimes there's that reverse relationship where Bitcoin pumps, the US dollar pair pumps, and the Bitcoin pairs dump as far as altcoins. I've always just traded against Bitcoin pairs, as I'm sure most altcoin traders do anyways. But yes, you can certainly trade against the dollar pair. This doesn't look as strong though as it does against Bitcoin pair. All right, so let me zoom in down here to this 2-hour time frame. All right, so we are holding here now above this support right here, above the 200-day moving average. Let me turn it off so we can see the little bit clearer. So we've already pretty well hit our support resistance flip right here. You can see these confluent zones right here underneath this structure and underneath this structure, coming and meeting the tops here and the tops here and tops here and the bottom here. So we're pretty well already holding over that zone. This is just another slow moving coin. But on the weekly, it's also crossed bull. You can see the accumulation pattern right here. Okay, so this too has also been in accumulation pretty well since August. So I'm pretty sure that this is wanting to go on a pretty nice run soon. So it's just another slow mover coin. But the overall structure looks good. And again, here's another case. Here's another case where you're seeing the 7-day moving average right there, catching this doji candle as support. So we shouldn't see price fall below that candle, or I'm sorry, below that moving average. So again, it's just like waves. It's going to come out and it's going to catch that reverse, and so will price. Price will catch a pump, and we probably look up there. That may be too shallow, but I mean that's a target. So this has still got they're about a 30% chance, or 30% popped ahead of it coming. And you can see that matched up some tops of those candles right there. Yes, Kumar, you need to own Bitcoin to buy in Bitcoin pairs. If you want to trade alts against US dollar pair or the USDT pair, then you need to sell your Bitcoin into Tether. And I think they made like a PAX pair, which is another stable coin, and there's like a USDC coin, which is another US dollar coin or something, that you would also have to sell your Bitcoin into that particular stable coin to trade an alt against that stable coin rather than Bitcoin. But yes, both waves and ONT are pretty bullish. They're just not as fast moving because they're a little bit higher in market cap. So let's look at one that's a little bit lower in market cap and has been showing a little bit of potential here. So let's look at Phantom, FTM. So Phantom, let's see, we started here on the 2-hour time frame. This has already got in a pretty nice little push off of the bottom here. Only 15% up, so it still looks like it's got some potential. Let's look at the daily. Okay, so here are the signs that we want. Again, look at the 7-day moving average right here. Look at the strong curl up against the 20-day right there. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. I want you guys to look at this here. Look how when this 7-day curls up, okay, now look at these candles hold above that green line. So this is a very bullish sign when you look at a moving average, or at least the 7-day moving average. When there are price candles above this 7-day moving average, the trend is bullish. And you can see the opposite here. You got all these price candles below, so the trend is bearish. So now we got these price candles above the 7-day moving average, pushing up against the 20 here. Nice strong daily close right there on that candle, and we already got a little bit of a push right there. So I would expect us to now hold and find some resistance right here under the daily, or under the 100-day moving average. And look how that magically lines up with the bottom of those wicks, touches that wicks, and kind of cuts across some tops and bottoms of those candles right there. Truly beautiful, the relationship between moving averages and how they line up with price candles and wicks. So I would expect us to find some resistance, or expect FTM to find some resistance right here, and possibly reject there under that 100-day moving average. Other than that, I don't see anything bear right there. Okay, so this is the 12-hour. Now you can see the little bit more confluent zone, and look how this confluent zone, well, let me just draw a line. Okay, so look how the tops of all these candles are matching up with that 100-day moving average there. So you might catch some resistance there as well. You might catch a little bit of pullback. Not to be worried though, just move your stop losses up, or we can drop down to a lower time frame once we reach this zone, and see, let's see what the order books look like. Okay, what was that price right there? About 150. So we're almost pretty well there. And you can see this. Here's 3 Bitcoin wall. Here's a 2.5. Here's a 3. Here's a 4. I mean, it's going to take some buying pressure, because you got some. Ooh, here's a 7 Bitcoin wall right here at 238. Well, that's way up there. Okay, so what was back down at the 170 area? Okay, so you got you do got some confluence there. There's 3, there's 2, there's 4 right there at right at 170, which is right just slightly below at 177 where it meets that. Well, let me go back to the daily. Right where I said, right there at the 100-day moving average at 177. So you got that 4 Bitcoin wall. Where'd it go? I think it just got pulled. Nope, there it is. 170. So you got and then you got 3 right behind it. So you got 7, almost 8 Bitcoin right there that somebody's wanting to dump and probably get out. There's 159. Just over that 154 mark at the 200-day moving average. So there is some resistance. Let's look at the bid side to see what the bids look like. Okay, so there's a push wall. So you got 11 Bitcoin right here that wants to hold the price up over 135. And you got some pretty decent sales, or I'm sorry, pretty decent buys that are coming in. They're going to want to try to chop at this and chew at it and kind of pick it off. So if we start seeing some buying pressure here, it might trigger some buy bots. And they'll start just buying this up and eating up all these sales. But overall, from a chart perspective, this doesn't look too bad. Very strong push so far, pushing up on that 20-day. We want to see this green line, though, over the blue. Okay, so we'll have to wait till the next next daily candle for that. So these are the targets for FTM. Doesn't look too bad. Looks pretty decent. Nice little trend line respect right there. We could probably just go ahead and just fill out. We'll just make our wedge that this looks like it's trying to break out from. Turn off the moving average, make it a little bit cleaner. Okay, so we got a nice little wedge. Weekly, I'm not a fan. That's a nice weekly candle. There's just not enough chart history here for me to really just get excited about it and just think, oh, we're gonna moon, we're gonna go 6x. However, this doesn't look too bad at all, really. I think if we break this resistance zone right here at 170, then that 230 mark could very well be right there, 250-ish. And then you got some wicks right there at 236. I think there's a good chance that this will pump all the way up to about 230, 250 or so. If there's a strong break and chops through the 170s. Because there's one, maybe two resistance zones above it. Look at a different chart. Yeah, we'll get some more chart history. Does Bittrex have more chart history? Well, hell no, it's got the same. I'd have to get on Qcoin probably to see this chart. Why do I have two MACDs on? Why are you guys not telling me I got two MACDs open? Okay, so this is what I see for Phantom. So if I were, wanting this to the play out, I want to see it come up and hit that resistance, fall back, and then hold support over this, and then get that second push. So I'd want to see some kind of wave structure like that. Phantom looks pretty good. Okay, so another low cap coin that was looking pretty promising today, I think it got a pretty big first push, was Fetch AI. Okay, so the only thing that's concerning about this right now was that first push and this rejection wick. I don't like that rejection because that looked pretty heavy, and I think this rejected pretty far back, even further than that. How far did this dump? Yeah, so this dumped all the way down to the lower 500s after that push. So that was a 15% dump. 165 first target for Phantom. Yeah, I can believe that. That's still under that 177 mark, so that'd be fine to take profits there in the 160s. Certainly nothing wrong with that. So this is a little bit concerning for me. I don't like that rejection, and I currently don't like this daily candle. I mean, that is pretty nasty. Yeah, see? Okay, so we barely got that candle closed right here on this candle, right there at that 100-day moving average mark, and this candle has to stay above it. So Phantom really can't start breaking down below 500 Satoshi at, well, that might even be too low. It's got to get some buying pressure, or what's going to happen is if this rejection holds true, Phantom's just going to roll back under and fall back down again, and probably come back and test these lower 450s. This one I really don't like because of this shit right here. Look at this. Okay, when I see something like this, is a heavily shielded IEO on Binance, CZ pumped it and shielded it and all that wonderful mess, and it has done nothing but die and die and die. So when I see something like this, I want to show you what I think of. Actually, it's our next chart that we're going to look at. It's INS. So let's look at the 12-hour for INS, and I'll show you what I mean. Nearly identical. So look at the big dump here. Good first little pop, and then it just done nothing, nothing, nothing. Same, almost identical chart structure. Big dump, got that little first push, just like INS right there. And then nothing, 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 nothing. Now, I'm not sure, you know, the full fundamentals on FET over INS. But if I were to compare the two, I mean, if we're right here looking to cross the convergence of the moving averages right here, then I would say that INS, FET would probably be right here in relations to INS if we were to compare the two charts. So FET could see a little bit of movement, but I just don't like to see a coin that is dumped that heavy, especially on listing, and then everybody try to shill it and get excited. And again, let's look at the RSI right here. Look at the RSI. That is pretty high. It looks like it's double topping right there almost. Close enough. This is I don't want to say it's a hidden bearish divergence. I can't remember. But I don't like it. So the bulls really need to show up and really start pushing this thing again, or FET is just going to roll back over and it's going to test the 440s, 450s again. I don't like this rejection. I don't like that big wick right there. Zooming down to the lower time frames, it looks even uglier. Look at the MACD here. Way, 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 way overextended. RS or your OBV is in the dirt. Oh, look at the RSI right here. This definitely bearish diverged. So you got, if I can get my mouse to cooperate. So you got 1, 2, 3 touches on this trend line for the RSI at the same point. 1, 2, 3 touches on your price action before the rejection. Now that last one, that last touch on the trend line for the price action obviously got that big push up into a major resistance zone. But this just looks ugly. Look, I mean, this is really rolling over right here. So if this were to fall and this were to come back and test support all the way back down here, that would put it right about where I said, around in that 450, 440 mark, right there. Yeah, it'd be in bull mode over 500, but the way that this is looking and rolling over right now, I'm not even sure 500 is going to hold. What do the order books say? Oh, this is FTM. I was like, wait a minute, we're already there? I mean, yeah, the bears kind of like way outweigh the bulls here. So here's some decent bid support there at that 470 mark. I mean, it's got bid support. It's really got some good bid support, but the chart is just so damn ugly. So in order for this to remain bull, this has got to come down here, maybe scrape 480 real quick and just wick. Turn off the moving average. So you see that line where I drew it right here in between the bottom of these candles and meets the tops of those. This would have to come down and just barely scrape that 480 mark and get that push back up. And now if we were to extend that line out, okay, so that same line that we drew is from the bottom of these candles over the tops of these, right in between those candles. Look how it comes over and it meets this confluent zone right there. I mean, yeah, I mean, NOSA, I mean, 500 I think is really kind of a bit high for an SR flip, but it's certainly possible, doable. Because if we put 500 up there, right there at the bottom of those candles and the tops of those wicks and the bottom of those candles, if we extended that out, I didn't mean to move that one. Then it cuts across this confluence and the tops of these wicks. I mean, it's just so ugly right now. I mean, this could grind out and it could do another flag like it did here. So you see the downtrend in the MACD right there, and then that push. It could do the same grind here, could grind down and get another push just like the price action is doing right there. So it could grind down and get that push. Double bull flag and get a push. Well, there's not much really trying to connect those two wicks right there to call it a bull flag. It could do that. So 500 could hold. I would really like to see a support just a tad bit deeper to 480 before getting that second push. This is not a play for me. I'm not going to play this one just yet. I think there's better plays out there. I want to see how the support holds up overnight. Because of this wick right here that's just so nasty. I don't like that. I mean, this wicked all the way up and met a top of a major resistance zone and then just died. I mean, but you know, it's crypto. Anything is possible. I'm going to sit FET out. I'm not a fan of it. So we'll see what happens over the next 8-10 hours or so if this 2 hour holds true. So we got 2, 4, 6, roughly 8 hours, and see what happens. You bet we close. Well, I mean, it may be clearing the order books because that was a big first pump. Where'd it go? That was a big first pump that pumped all the way up to 600, and it cleared out a lot all the way back up here to this top of this resistance structure right there. But I mean, it looks like the sales came flushing back in. You still got a bunch up there near that 600 mark. So again, I mean, yeah, I'm with you. It's got to hold here over 500 or so. I'd even argue here above the 480s because it looks like you got some more bid support down in the 470s. There's 490 with 2 Bitcoin. There's 4083 with 2.5 Bitcoin. There's no heavy bids right here though, except this 1.5 Bitcoin right there. So it could dip down to that 490, that 483 mark, right where I have my support resistance flip. So I'm going to sit this one out. I'm going to wait and see how this one develops and see how it shapes up overnight. Okay, so let's move on to INS in Solar. Okay, so I know we compared this one briefly to FET with a big dump and all of that, but I don't know too much about this coin, honestly. But apparently it's got some really great fundamentals or something. Okay, so basically we have a wish list going here. So we got we got to look at H bar. Trying to scroll through some chat here to see what the other request was that Noza is now acting like Gooner on and clogging up the chat. Okay, but yeah, INS apparently has some seriously solid, good fundamentals. It's not a coin that I've done a review on, so I honestly can't say too much about it. But the chart, I mean, look at this weekly. This is beautiful right here. This is fantastic looking weekly right here. Yeah, we'll look at REN. We'll check out REN. But INS has a beautiful weekly right here. So this is a very nice, look at that curl up on the 7-day moving average. And look at that candle following it too. This is it may not look that big or that wonderful because it's not a big candle, but this is a weekly chart. So when you see some weekly strength like this, I mean, yeah, that's only an 11-12% candle, but this is very telling that an uptrend is going to follow it. Even the 2-week, this is probably one of the stronger 2-week charts I've seen. Really nice 7-day moving average rounding out there. So I mean, I really like the structure on INS, and I would not honestly be surprised to see, if I can get my damn thing, to see this start testing some previous broken supports. This might be a bit high. How high is that? 200%? Yeah, that may be a bit high. Then again, nobody expected Doc to pump 200%. I mean, Doc of all coins, a coin that nobody gave a shit about, pumped 200%. So we do have some good resistance zones here. Tap this weekly resistance right here off the bottoms of these candles would be our first target. And it's still really strong. That's still incredible profits right there. Okay, we might catch a little resistance off of this previous wick at 3,400 or so. But INS looks absolutely beautiful. I'm quite impressed with the way that this coin has shaped up. This rounding out right here is just really, really nice. This would be a good swing hold right here. So again, this is the weekly chart, so this could take 1-2 weeks to get up to some of these targets, or it may just do what Doc did and just screw it. I'm just gonna pump in the next 2 days or so and just pull a 200%er out of nowhere. But overall, the structure looks really, really nice. So if I were to maybe put a guess on this, we'll probably come up and maybe at least test this 100% mark and then fall back down and then maybe get another push sometime later in the year, probably going into next year, maybe. I'm gonna delete that though, so it doesn't confuse the shit out of anybody. But INS looks really, really good. I don't know why I didn't buy it the other day when I think it was, yeah, because it was down here under the 100-day moving average around 2,300. So it's still got some room to run. And you know what? If you really look at the bottom, this is the bottom. We're only 30% up off of the bottom. Now I know that sounds a lot. But you know what? It wouldn't hurt to pick up a swing bag at 30% off the bottom, then wait till it's all the way the hell up here, and then DM me or nose and be like, hey, is INS still good to buy? Because you'll probably get punched in the face. Really, really great chart structure on INS, and pretty sound fundamentals from what I've heard. This looks really, really great. This actually kind of looks like a fulcrum. Fulcrum. This looks like a fulcrum pattern. Let me see here. This one. Okay, so look at this structure here, and then look at this structure here. Oops. Okay, so this structure right here looks like this little part right here. Now, of course, it's not going to be identical, but we're looking at the overall structure. And then this accumulation pattern here, which looks like the bottom of a wick off, you can call it, closely resembles this right here. So this looks like a fulcrum pattern. And this is a pretty bullish pattern. That may be a little bit different, but all along the same lines. Look at that. Look at you just look at patterns enough, you can kind of spot them out. So yeah, INS looks really good. I like INS. Okay, so real quick, let's look at REN. Well, actually, let me so I don't lose any charts and have to go back and get them. Man, alts look good. God, I'm so excited to see alts look good. Okay, so REN. And again, it didn't save my chart because I think we had it on a 12-hour chart. We had something like this drawn, I think. Oh, perfect. Look at that. Let me see if I can find it in the call channel real quick. Ren does look to be hitting a resistance zone right here, so I would be considering taking profit right there. Okay, for some reason I can't find my Ren chart that I had, because I know I had some lines that reached all the way back here, and we had some kind of bottom channel like that. Okay, so let me see. I don't know, Noza. I mean, you got to look at what this just hit right here. So look at where we just hit perfectly at the top of this trend line from a previous chart that we had when we called this. So this absolutely beautifully respected this trend line all the way through. Touch, and rejected there. And now it touched and rejected there. Look, you got a little bit of a drop candle. RSI hitting oversold there. I don't think it's going to immediately drop. It may kind of just wiggle its way and kind of round out up to 650 or so. But look at the rejection point from this wick. Matching that wick. Matching that wick. Matching those candle bottoms. And then coming over here and hitting all that confluence, hitting that, and hitting that. So that's a pretty sound, solid place to consider a resistance. You can't argue that. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong or anything. I'm just saying any smart trader would consider hitting all of these resistance zones right here. Oh, we forgot to put an arrow over this candle right there. So we have some pretty historical resistant lines here that we just hit for Ren. That's met right there with that rejection. So let's zoom in and look at some lower time frames. Oh, I mean, okay, whatever, Noza, you know, if you think it'll run, then, okay, well, it'll run. I'm just saying a smart trader would take some off the table there. 4 hour is, you got two inside bar candles, so it's already not looking good on 4. 6 has a drop. RSI hitting oversold. 2 hour looks to be rolling over. All right, well, all right, well, Noza seems to be relying solely on VRS here. So if you're in Ren, just move your stops up just to make him happy so he won't cry. So we want to see somewhere right there above about 500, 520 or so to hold for support. Now again, this, let me look at the weekly. Okay, so I'm going to remove those real quick. Okay, so the weekly here, now again, if you guys remember from the last live stream, we compared it to Theta's weekly. Accumulation, big push, fall back to double bottoms or whatever, and we got that nice little push right there on Theta's weekly. Ren looks like the same thing a little bit. Accumulation, push, fall back, and here's that second little push. Now, I'm not saying it's going to do exactly what theta did. However, the chart structure is similar. But it is hard to argue all of those points right there. If it were me, I would take profit and at least, you know, wait for this low time frame pullback. Again, if it were me, I would take profit, wait for this pullback, and see how far this pulls back, because you can always rebuy a bag, you know, a moon bag or something, down here in the lower 500s and see if support starts holding here. Wait, is that the bottom? That is the bottom of the chart. Why do I think it looked much bigger? Okay. Okay, so obviously this is the bottom here. So if we were to put that trend line back, okay, so this right here in the middle is about the middle of that channel. So I would see if this area right here around the 500, 550 holds for support, and then you can just rebuy. But if it were me, I would be taking profit up here while it's at the top and wait on this low time frame rejection, because again, it's really, really hard not to want to take profit right here when you rejected at all of these previous historical resistance points. What is TWSS? Okay, there's a very fine difference between RIN and AMB. RIN is just coming off of a monster pump. AMB hasn't had one in freaking forever. Until now, of course. There's a very huge difference in the chart structures between RIN and AMB. God, AMB, look, Jesus, you are way oversold. Okay, that looks like a top for AMB. Holy shit. Yeah, I bet I'd be salty too, man. I mean, this goes from the bottom here at 150. This goes on a 220% run, and most of us missed every single bit of that. Okay, so hold on. What do we got? Algo USD. Okay, so this is Algo against the dollar pair. Okay, so already right off the bat, I like this little scoop right here. I like that. That's pretty nice. You can even argue or say, you know, this was like a small, probably look better if I zoomed into some medium or lower time frames. So this looks like a bull flag, and this is a bull flag break. So here's my flagpole. Here's my, or a pennant rather, not a flag. Flags are square. This is a pennant, like you see at a baseball game. So this looks like a pennant break. So you want to watch to see a retest of that resistance right there. And then if we break above that resistance, then your next one is really all the way up here. So what you would want to watch for this here are two things. A rejection, again, at this resistance line, this previous resistance line. And if it rejects, fall back down here to test this support once more and see if it rebuilds back up for that second push. Or we're just going to break right through it, come up and hit that resistance, and then fall back. Let's see. So I mean that's a pretty significant push there. So I wouldn't fully bank on that yet. However, again, it is fucking crypto. Stuff just moons for no reason and just keeps mooning forever. So let's check out some other time frames and see how it's shaping up. Daily looks good. 2-day looks good. Holy crap. 2-day, look at the RSI. Still in heavy oversold. And it's already up 32%. So this looks like it could go all the way up to 30 cents, 33 cents. Looks like it's got some pretty decent legs on it so far. Nice strong push on the 2-hour. This looks like this trend is still pretty well intact. So let's check out Algo against the BTC pair, see if the Bitcoin pair is following. Looks like the Bitcoin pair is even following. RSI is obviously a good bit higher. Look at the OBV. OBV is in an uptrend even against the Bitcoin pair. But you still see that pennant right there. And then you see the break of that pennant. So it's, I'd say it's pretty arguably roughly the same. So we could probably see probably up here around 3,300 on the Bitcoin pair. I mean, it doesn't look bad. I agree with Noza. There's better plays out there. However, it really doesn't look that bad either. No, we didn't do XVG yet. I think we got to look at Key. Key looked like it had a really significant push today. Well, these are some old calls, old chart. Okay, so Key is going to look a lot like MFT and all of that. So Key, obviously, if I can get my damn triangle here. Okay, so Key, very nice accumulation pattern right there. Here's the downtrend, accumulation, and now we're reversing. Plop. Okay, so now if you guys remember from earlier in the live stream, here's a great 7-day moving average breakaway from the 20. Now we're coming up here to test the 100. Look at this very strong candle right here, pushed up above that 100-day moving average right there. Very strong candle. But we can't consider it bull until that green line gets above that pink. And we won't know that for another 11 hours until roughly this time tomorrow night on the next candle. But so far the uptrend looks pretty good, so I'm not ruling this one out. Weekly looks really nice here. Look at the 7-day round out and rounding up. Look at the strong candle right there. Well above the 7-day right here, showing a good uptrend. I think this trend looks pretty good. God, I remember when we played Key, like back here, back in June of last year. Maybe not June. No, I think we played it here because we didn't start our group until July. So it was probably this this mess right here that we played Key. Okay, so for Key, let me go back down to the daily. I don't want to jump the gun and say, I mean, testing this wick way up here for 45 sats, that's really big of a push. I kind of just don't see that in the books, but we'll leave it there just in case somebody gets buy happy and runs it like they did Doc. But I don't see it going that high. So some key resistances, I want to see maybe up here at a high of 26. Maybe by the time this creeps its way up, it'll come down and meet the 200-day moving average around that same point. So let's see what's on the books for Key. I know it's pretty stacked, probably. Actually, not too bad. It looks pretty even on the order books. I mean, there's just a lot of walls here to chew through on both sides. 14 Bitcoin right there at 45. Well, holy shit! Look at that. Look at that right there at that wick, right where I said that nice big huge pump is a pretty huge wall right there that would hold this whole thing down. So I mean, I don't know. You may get lucky, and let's not rule that out. But you do got a 7 Bitcoin wall right there at 23. You got another almost 8 Bitcoin holding it under 20 right now. God, I hate low sat coins like this. I don't know why I picked up MFT. I think they had some kind of big update, but MFT is in the same boat, stuck down here at 11, 12 Satoshi, waiting for its turn. 2-day looks nice though. Look at the 2-day. Look at the 7-day. It caught the bottom of that candle and pushed it. So I still like the 2-day. 2-day looks really nice. Still shows a good uptrend. I would play this first target zone right here between 23 and 26. So even from 18, that's still, about 40-50% profit. And then I would maybe consider taking about 50% of your bag off the table then. This wick right here, cutting through these candles, is definitely going to serve as a resistance though. So I would take some profit off of the table there and go ahead and lock that in. Yeah, NPXS is done. But this is what I see for Key. Key looks good. I don't know who requested this. I just remember seeing it. Oh, I'm sorry, John. That was on the USD pair. Did you want the dollar pair, or did you want the Bitcoin pair? I didn't even know they came out with the dollar pair. Honestly, I can't chart this. There's not enough chart history to go off of. This one would be tricky. This almost looks a stable coin. USD, yeah, I mean, you can maybe catch 18. That's not even a penny right there. So you're already in a resistance zone right here. So look where this rejection is right there. Right here where it's rejecting, and it's cutting across the tops of all of these. So this is already on the USD pair, a resistance zone. So I would expect a pullback, maybe. And we would want to see that pullback probably somewhere right around here. No, maybe not. Maybe right there. I think if it retraced the entire length of this pullback, this candle here, that'd be probably kill the entire run. So you might catch back down here at 14. There's just not enough chart history to chart this. Why are all of these black if this is in a downtrend? These are supposed to be purple. Yeah, in all honesty, it's kind of hard to chart the dollar pair. There's just not enough history. It looks like only August of this year that they started trading it against the dollar. Bitcoin pair is obviously a little bit easier. But I would be careful of this right here, because if I'm right on this, even on the low time frames, and this does pull back all the way down here, I mean, you're looking at a 10% drop right here. So what you can do is you can just move your stop loss up, maybe to right here or so, right at like 15 or something, 14.5. That way, if it dumps below there, you locked in profits, and you can always just rebuy on the dip. Okay, oh, I'm sorry. We got to look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then we'll probably be done. Because we looked at, like, I don't know, probably 12 coins tonight, and I got to get these posted. Okay, so this looks like the last update from this morning. We needed to hold here above this support zone at 81.40, 81.30. Looks like we got that wick though just below. Looks like it went on a stop loss hunt. I hope that wasn't too steep of a stop loss. Okay, so that wasn't barely 0.5% or so. So hopefully nobody got taken out on that stop loss. But the note from this morning was that if we got a candle close below this green line, we'd fall back. I don't remember. I think it was probably somewhere right there around 8,079.90 or something. No, I think it was a little bit lower. I think it was somewhere down here, 79.50, to test the back line of this falling wedge right here. So it looks like overall we have held nicely above that support zone called. So as long as we hold above this, from the note this morning, we're still bull. We remain bull. And that would, I think I had a target up here at about 8,400, almost 8,500. Probably to test these upper wicks right here. Something to that extent, maybe. Let me delete that. So as long, yeah, I mean, I still hold to this. As long as we hold above this this support line right here, because you can see all day, minus that little tiny stop loss hunt, all day we've held above here. So let's zoom out to daily and see what daily shows us. So daily, yep, we're still bull. Look at the daily. We do have a bull cross here. We do got a bullish candle right there. What's the 7-day moving average doing? So our 7-day moving average, you can see it hasn't quite rounded up yet. It's still kind of pointed down. So it's kind of in that iffy, tricky spot. 12-hour looks a lot better. It's got that curl up. However, it's not. It could easily just as well curl back down too. So I'm still going to hold to that though. And if you look, let me zoom in here. Okay, so look at the last, this is 12 hours, so almost 36 hours right here of price action. We've held right here above the 20-day moving average right there. These little doji candles, all price action is held above that 20-day moving average. So that's a pretty bullish sign right there. So I'm still going to hold to this. Let me turn off the moving averages to avoid the clutter again. I'm still going to hold to this, that as long as we hold above this support line here with a candle body, not a wick, okay, a candle body, then we remain bullish and should see that 4,500 mark as our next resistance. If we start testing below here and start testing in, the lower 8,100s, I would certainly be looking to exit your long positions if you got them open. Yeah, the hourly, I mean, it certainly looks like another channel. Yeah, I mean, it certainly looks like another channel on the hourly. Now, if we were to go out to, let me erase those and I'll just put them all back. I don't know, let's go out to like the 4-hour and let's look at a bigger picture time frame here. Okay, so we could probably draw a trend line from here to there. Okay, so now we have another macro channel. This is a macro for macro as in like bigger picture, bigger idea. So now we have a macro channel. So you can see respect to the trend line here, touch a trend line there, some candle body touches there, and of course it's obvious here that we cut across. So we could very well see, I think we had that target up here, up in the 9,000 somewhere, and then maybe fall back down. If we respect this channel here, we'll eventually test that lower 6,000 mark, right around that wonderful, infamous, if I can get my rectangle, right around that infamous support zone, around that 6,000 mark that we held on dearly last summer. So a couple different options, or bias rather, I guess you can say. From a macro term, we still look to be heading in a downtrend unless we can start getting up here over 8,500. And again, this is Binance chart, guys, so the price may differ from BitMEX. Okay, so this is our resistance zone here. We could probably bring this down just a smidge, that 8,400 mark, we'll call that. So as long as we stay under this 8,400 mark, we are on a macro level bear. If we can get above this 8,400 mark, then we'll start testing up here in the upper 8,000s, 9,000s. I still think on a higher time frame, we should come all the way and test this previous broken resistance zone around 95, 9,600. And this is, of course, from a daily perspective. So I think we may kind of wick up above this channel and then fall right back down into it, just to wick the bottom of this resistance. So I am bull on a macro time frame. You can see the MACD kind of wiggling down, so it wants to get that reset. You can see it holding support right here. You can see the support zone kind of forming and holding right there. So it kind of wants to round out and get that push up. Now this is macro level, okay? So this is higher time frame, bigger picture. Because one of the very first updates that I had when we broke down and had this massive drop was a high target of that 9,500. Now on the, I don't want to use Binance chart for this. Let's go to Bitstamp. Now on the monthly, we are missing that push up. So you can see the obvious downtrend and those candle rejections making a lower low, but we're missing a bounce right here. I don't think we're just gonna just roll over and die and just keep going down. We're missing a bounce. That's why I'm leaning bullish on that macro term. And if you look right about there, if I can get my mouse to work right, I think 10,000 may be a wee bit high. So I want to say, you know, right around that 95, 94, 600 mark, and test that resistance. So we are missing a bounce. I don't want to say 10,000. I don't want to start getting hopium numbers up. I certainly don't want to say we're going to pump to 14,000 either, because I don't see anything in that. Now, if we go look at the 2-week range, 2-week chart, and this kind of really makes that bias a little bit more concrete. Okay, so here's the 7-day moving average. We fully rounded out. We're pointing down. So now our resistance overall should hold under that 7-day moving average, which confirms that target right there if we were to wick up and touch it. Right at about, if I can get this damn thing working right at about 9,600, and you can see how that just scrapes across and wicks all those candles. Now again, look at the MACD. That is pretty heavy bear right there. I'm still just dumbfounded how some people think we're going to go from this to, you know, just another pump and we're going all-time highs. I'd be really, really, really shocked if we did. So with this relationship of the moving average, and you can see it right here too. You see the 7-day moving average here rolled over and pointed down, and look at the 2 price candles here held under it as resistance. So I would expect the same here. So we are in fact missing that push up. So I want to see the bulls kind of take control a little bit on those lower time frames to get this push up, to get that lower time frame reset, and then we can reload shorts up in this area only on confirmation of a rejection here, and then we're going to push back down and watch this cross under bear. So again, we are missing that push up, and I want to see that 9,500, 9,600 mark test at some point. 8-hour chart here looks pretty bull. Look at the 7-day pushing on the 20. But again, if we were to, oops, this is still Bitstamp. Noza, what'd you do? Come back, man? Okay, sorry, had to let the wife's cat out of the room. It was bugging the shit out of me, scratching at the doors. Okay, so that's the macro level. Now, if we jump back down to the micro levels, you can see that support zone that we were just talking about. Look how it's grinding and holding right there above the 100-day moving average. So if we were to put those channels back on, I don't quite remember what they were fully. Something like, what's it snapping to? Something like there. And if anybody's wondering if I am right on the bigger picture, high time frame, I would not be surprised to see $4,100 for Bitcoin by spring. I think that's very, very doable by that time frame. So I mean, it just blows my mind that people are still bull. No, let's make that yellow. Okay, so this is micro. We're still bull as long as we hold above this line here. But just for reference, going back to this 2-week chart. Okay, so again, this goes back to the relationship of moving averages and price action and the MACD over price action and all of that. If this crosses under bear, there is no shot in hell we're going to start pumping up and testing previous highs. It just does not happen that way, especially over one bearish histogram like this. Now, we could get that wick. We could get a wick, but all the way up here that, you know, because this is what everybody is focused on right here. Everybody is hell-bent on this log scale, and they're comparing previous altcoin or previous Bitcoin runs holding off of the 100-day moving average here and the 100-day moving average here, and somehow they think, oh, we're testing this 20-day moving average like we did over here, and we're just gonna nah. It's like, oh, no, bro, no, that's not what this is saying. Now, I don't have the full history of the chart. Apparently, there's a little bit more. So if I was to put even a half-ass rough guess on an Elliott wave, then it could very well do something like that, which would put us in an overall ABC pattern, and this pump to 14K completed that B. Now, I don't know where this C would go. I damn sure don't want to say it's going to go all the way down here to $600. And I don't even want to say that it would go something like that, because that looks like some funky-ass C wave. But nonetheless, if people would just turn off that log scale and go to linear. Let me go back here. So after this pump, we should move something down here and meet this 100-day moving average. Excuse me. Going into, I mean, look at this. This is May of next year. So that would still put me right on target for 4,100 by March of next year. And then assuming that it meets that 100-day moving average there and bounces and does some kind of weird shit like that, then we should still be right on track. But because this push here off of the bottom at 3K rejected and failed to make a higher high, and look at all of those nasty rejections right there, each one making a lower high going back as far as June, I just don't see any reason or chance in hell all of Twitter is just saying that we're just going to do some shit like that. I'd be honestly really surprised if we did, but I just don't see it. And I know everybody is going back to this log chart and doing this curve shit here and trying to make all of, you know, these comparisons and whatnot and whatever. But the one thing that they are failing to take into consideration or account, and I think I might have said this in chat, is all of these previous bull runs didn't have one thing, and that's the futures market. So there was nothing to stop bears from going on a bear raid and shorten the absolute shit out of this. Because when did futures market opens? Like what? Somewhere in November 2017, damn near right here at all-time highs. Conveniently, at the top, so they can short it down. But each previous bull run did not have future markets. And even if you look at the structure, riding this curve line here and riding this curve line here, each time that it touched this curve, it got an instant pump, instant moon. Well, we're not doing that here. We failed to make that higher high in that continuation pattern. I'm just having a really hard time believing Twitter is just so damn bullish on this log chart without taking into consideration futures markets, without taking into consideration this MACD looks like ass cancer and going under and all this other stuff. Okay, so yeah, that's what I see for Bitcoin on the macro and micro levels. But we're gonna play it day by day, so I really don't care what Twitter says. We play the chart up in here, and we play what the chart tells us. We're not gonna follow Twitter because half of them have been wrong any damn way. Because that whole time that I had that wick-off pattern up here, or no, it was up here. That whole time I had that wick-off pattern from up here, everybody was still screaming, we're going to 20, 30K. Well, you're wrecked, bro. Sorry. Okay, but back to all seriousness. I'm still going to hold true to this, guys. As long as we hold right here above the support, and you can see the support zones being held above this support line right here, we should still be bull, and we should still see that line or see that target come up and test there. Again, if we start breaking down in the lower 8100s, I would be looking to close your longs, as that would probably invalidate that push to get up there to that upper target. I personally don't like this. I would rather wait to see a little bit more confirmation. This RSI still looks a wee bit high. Your OBV is still negative. So maybe if I saw a trend shift right here in the OBV start to push a little bit positive, I might jump in along. I'm not going to take a position right here. I just don't like it. Yeah, Satoshi Flipper is a joke. Yeah, that's a different story. Okay, so let's go jump at ETH real quick. Wow, okay. ETH, let me look back at my notes because I don't even remember. This seems to be a little bit older chart here. Okay, so we had, let me delete this. We had this channel. This was an old support zone from, I don't know what update that was. For some reason my chart isn't updating here. We had a channel like this. And a channel like this. And I think from this morning, from what I'm looking at, I think we had a support box right here where these lines met, and it looks like we're still respecting this trend line right there. So we're still overall respecting this channel. We got that dip below, but we got one heck of a push back up into it. But once again, looks like we rejected right there at that 180 mark. So let's look at daily. Let's look at a bigger trend picture. Still bull on that. Why is this note still here? I swear TradingView doesn't change or save my update sometimes. Yeah, ETH is pretty bullish. I'm not gonna lie. This looks pretty bull. Great support structure right here, matching this support structure here. Again, there's another macro level channel right there. This looks to be a wee bit of an expanding channel. So we could very well pump all the way. If it's gonna play this channel, we could catch a pump all the way up here to about 207, 208, and reject right here off of the bottoms of these candles here. If we were to match that over there. No, I'm not an Elliott wave guy, so don't ask me to put Elliott waves on this shit, because I will give you all kinds of jacked up waves. Yeah, I think we had after this dump, I think I had a target up here of about 190, 192, and that's certainly possible. Yeah, right there. Okay, so we got the bottoms of these wicks kind of cutting across this confluence right there. So that, I mean, that's still a valid target. However, one could argue that this drop and then this channel could be a bear pennant, or I'm sorry, a bear flag, because it's a channel. It's square, not a pennant. This blue structure here looks more of a pennant. So one could argue that this is a bear flag. And we could do this and then down again, which still would be a very valid play. But right now, daily is showing us bull. Nothing concerning. Oh, well, I don't know. Look at the wick. There's no candle close up over this 180 mark. So this is holding as a pretty stiff resistance. I may sit this one out too. Kind of hopping between time frames here to kind of build the confirmation of my bias. Because look at the MACD. It could do this number here and drop off and fall and break this wedge. So as long as it looks like it's respecting this channel. So it respected this trend line after it pushed back up into it. So as long as we're holding up here above 177, it's pretty well bull. That's almost 2%. So that would be some pretty hefty losses. If it dumped there. But again, 2 hour is really struggling to try to stay up there. So let's hold to our target of that 190, 192 mark. And we'll make a note invalidate below, what I say, 177. Okay, so the lower time frames look bull. I don't like those rejections right there on the 12 hour. This does not look good. The bulls really need to come out and show some force. Okay, see. All right, so let's see what happens when we erase some stuff here. Well, I can't erase too much. Okay, so again, if we're just focusing on the moving average, you got 4 12-hour candles that rejected under the 100-day moving average. So if bulls do not show up and get a break over 182, this is pretty well dead and we're going to fall back again. But the daily is bull. 2-day is bull. Still looks bull, so this just may need a little bit more time. Oh, it's so ugly. Trend line respect, 1, 2, 3 touches. This looks like a repeat here. See this here? And this here? This looks like a similar setup pattern there. So you may get a nice big push on the candle there. So 2 days showing that we're bull, daily is showing that we're bull. I don't like the 12-hour fucking bulls need to show up and push that and do something there. And I still like these lower time frames trying to push bull here, so I'm not ruling anything out on ETH yet. ETH in my eyes is still overall bull. Okay, so we can clean up that channel there, and now we can leave just this channel. We'll exit or delete the bigger channel. Okay, so now we got a cleaner chart. Okay, so we're now forming a bigger channel there. And here is our support resistance flip. If we were treating this like we would an alt. So this looks, yeah, if we play it this way, this doesn't look bad. So we see that we held some support here and got that nice wick structure there. And we got that push up there. So we should test that upper channel again. However, this 177 is going to be our invalidation point. So I would consider stop losses somewhere around in that area in the event of a dump. Otherwise, we're okay. I just don't like some of these time frames. Look at this. Look at this duck. This looks like a duck head, and this looks like a beak, and that beak looks like it just wants to dump down into some water. I don't like the OBV here. Look at your OBV. OBV is in a downtrend here. No, we didn't do XMR yet, but we can look at it really quick because it is that time for me to hop into bed, and I'm sure wifey is not happy that I spent my whole night in here doing a 2-hour live stream. Okay, so this is what I'm going to roll with for F. I really just don't like this. If it were me, I would probably sit this play out and wait for a little bit more clear direction, because that 2-day is bear, yes, but we could come down and maybe just build a new support base and hold that support base off of 177 before rounding out. So it could very well do this also because of this right here. So the OBV dropping off. So I'm not liking it so far on lower time frames. So if you got balls and you're brave and you're longing this, I'm gonna stay long. 177 looks to be the invalidation point, as we would break this support right here, and then we probably fall back down to the lower 170s, 160s. All right, let me look at XMR real quick. I didn't even know that coin was still around. Oh God, yeah, I agree. XMR looks like garbage. Nope, that sound that you guys hear at the door is actually the wife's cat. It's clawing at the door because she likes to get in. Yes, so that absolutely loud, annoying sound was in fact my wife's cat. Because daddy feeds her all the treats, mommy doesn't, so she's wanting me to feed her a treat. XMR Monero looks like straight garbage. It looks like the weekly is trying to build a support base right here. You can see the candle structure trying so hard, but this wick right here kind of broke that support, so we may very well see some more downside. I mean the weekly cross bull here, but there's just nothing to convince me this even looks remotely good. Not even the daily. Ugh. Yeah, I wouldn't touch XMR, man. Just named a random coin. Oh, thanks. Of all coins, this one. I'm not doing XRP or TRX tonight. Okay, we've spent enough time. Here. Yeah, look at the alt channels. A lot of great setups in there. I really appreciate Noza helping me with altcoins. I'm so glad I have somebody to help me do it this year. because last August and last December and every other time that we've had alts going on some really significant runs and tears, I had to do them all by myself, so it wasn't fun. So I'm really thankful that I have Noza here, and he's been doing an absolutely fantastic job helping me. Come on, Nano, cross under bear, man. I want everybody else to get some in these lower 50s, 950s here. So yeah, check the alt channels for any kind of random coin or random alt that you feel like playing. A lot of great setups. Look at Phantom getting back up there into the 140, so it's still pushing. Yep. Okay, guys, I am hopping off here. I'm going to post these if they didn't get lost in translation somewhere up here. And then I'm going to bed, so I will holler at you guys tomorrow. Keep in mind that Asia usually does... See, look at this. I literally just charted this, and now it's back to like this old chart with this old channel we had. This is bullshit. It completely erased what I literally just charted for Bitcoin. Let's see if it... See, okay, well now it's here. This is retarded. Okay, anyways, yep, trade safe tonight, guys. Asia usually does some crazy funky things when I'm asleep. Oh, here's the 3 hour. Look at the 3 hour getting ready to cross bear on Bitcoin. So I would certainly not be looking at longs on this just yet. Yeah. Yep, so hit up Noza for any updates and all of that wonderful stuff. And I'll check with you guys tomorrow and see how bad Asia screws everything up or pumps everything, because apparently they pumped everything last night. All right, later, guys.